A very good morning to you and our viewers, Lebutinani. It's been so long since I last heard anyone call me Itumeleng. I wonder what's wrong with you this morning. The Indaba, the Africa's biggest travel gathering, has painted the Chief Albert Luthuli ICC complex red, and it's the 35th annual gathering and the 26th to be hosted in Durban. And joining us this morning is the CEO of Tourism of SA Tourism, who's going to tell us about the ins and outs of organizing and hosting this event. His name is Thulani Nzima, and sir, welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning to you.
When you start planning the event, what's the first thing on your list to tick off?
Well, the first one is whether we still have this venue or not. And fortunately, we have had this venue for the past 26 years now, very successfully hosting Indaba, and this being the 26th year. So that one is taken care of, and the next thing is really the logistics. The real work starts each time we finish Indaba. We start with the next episode of it.
Ntate Nzima, you've been doing this for 35 years, and for the first time ever, you decided to host the whole of the continent and not just the country alone. What brought that decision about?
Well, this is a response to, firstly, the new global trend that when buyers are looking at buying tourism products, they start with the continent before they even start with the country, before they start with the province in the country. And also to make sure that we respond to the buyers who want a one-stop show. So here we're providing the best of what Africa can offer under one roof and making sure that we bring the best buyers in the world and the best products in Africa and in South Africa.
And what are some of the newest challenges that came with the new decision of hosting the continent instead of the country?
Well, I think the first one will be to make sure that all the products make sense, all of them do appeal to the buyers, and that secondly, you will get a group of buyers who are showing relevant interest in the various products that you have got in place. And the second most important challenge is to make sure that each one of the people coming here, whether it be a buyer or a seller, do have a fully occupied diary. They're not coming here to loiter. Mm-hmm. They must come out of here feeling like they were doing business. The challenges that we've had in the past were exhibitors coming here, and after Indaba, they would say to us, we didn't do enough business. So our job is to make sure that their diaries are very busy, that they only have time to drink water and back to work.
And how has it changed the atmosphere of the Indaba compared to the other years?
Well, if you look at the bars that used to happen here, traditionally we have always accommodated the SADC countries. Mm-hmm. So the bars that used to happen when we opened the other part of the ICC was in the African continent because there was a lot of interest in that part, the regional African countries. Right now, with the various things that we have introduced as the first for Indaba 2013 and then carrying through to 2014, we have created quite a lot of vibe here. It's not just about the buyers and sellers. It's a holistic approach which touches on other tourist-related issues, such as what are the challenges, what are the barriers for successful tourism and travel within the African continent. So when you bring all of those kind of issues, like this morning, we are going to be having the global media face-off. Yesterday we had the insider talks. The insider talks are focusing a lot more on stakeholders who talk about topical issues in the industry that could either be an impediment or facilitation of travel and tourism within Africa. So those are the kind of issues that we bring here so that other key stakeholders, other than the buyers and the sellers, will come out of Indaba saying we also got value out of it.
Why has this exhibition expo style gathering continued to work for the Indaba?
Because we have a very good product, we have a successful product, we have a compelling value proposition that we're offering to both the buyers and the seller. And we also have you showing interest. In fact, when you look at the media interest here, we had quite a lot of international media interest coming through this time around, but also because the landscape is changing. People are very keen all the time to come and see what's new. You can't keep doing the same thing year in and year out. Otherwise, it gets a little bit boring.
I'm sure you can host it anywhere in South Africa, but you keep on coming back to Durban. Is there a particular reason besides access to the ocean?
Well, Durban has been very successful in hosting this. In fact, Durbanites will be very disappointed today that it's raining. Generally, they say in Durban you have three kinds of weather. It's summer, and summer. So this time around, I think they will be very disappointed. The second thing is that they've had facilities here which respond very well to the needs of both the buyers and the exhibitors. You're talking about hotel facilities, you're talking about the road infrastructure. The interlink in this ecosystem of tourism is the one ingredient that makes it a success. And when you have a facility like this one, which is very dynamic in the sense that it can accommodate any number of delegates that you've got, from the smallest to the biggest, and you have breakaway rooms here that allows for that. The opening ceremony, a venue that can adapt itself to all the needs that we have. I think that those are some of the things that have been giving Durban an edge over a few other host destinations.
An interesting feature that I saw at the Indaba yesterday is the poken. Please explain to the viewers what the poken is and why you introduced it.
Well, you know that traditionally when we shake hands in business, you shake hands and with the right hand, and the left hand is you're having a business card. So we decided that it's about time that we save the trees. And in fact, we introduced the poken last year. The poken is a very dynamic piece of tool. It allows you to exchange your details just by touching these two tokens. When you see green, then you and I are connected. It also gives you an opportunity to capture all the presentations rather than people carrying brochures here and after the presentation I want to get this information and so on and so on. So it has actually revolutionized the way we're doing business, the way we're connecting with each other.
It has indeed.
It allows you actually to have so much content than you ever thought of, like the number of documents that you can hold, that you don't necessarily have to carry through and ask for excess baggage when you're flying back to your destination. But it also runs across all the other facilities that we've got here. You can go to your insider talks, you can go to your tech zone, and you'll see that, in fact, this little poken is the only magic touch that you have to get the information.
Indeed it is. Thulani Nzima, let's just step out of the Indaba a bit and speak about the industry. What is the current challenge that the industry is facing? Are there any difficulties when it comes to doing business in the tourism industry?
Well, I think we have what we see as traditional challenges. The traditional challenge, if you look globally first, is an issue of visa facilitation. Those of us in the business would like to see a much easier way of facilitating business. The visa application is one such process. We would like to move into an e-visa process. That way you don't have to depend on the number of centers which are issuing visas in any one country, and you can actually deal with some of the security concerns that Home Affairs will worry about. So that is the first thing. The second thing is capacity in terms of airlines. When you market your destination, you do it on the basis that there will be an airline that has the right fares, that has the capacity, that the connections are going to be very seamless. And then you also want to make sure that as you operate within the value chain of tourism, when people arrive at your airports, they will be very welcome, and that your hotels are also geared to respond to this. Beyond that, if you look at the various issues, like here in South Africa, we are a long-haul destination. We always have this challenge that as countries are coming out of the global economic meltdown, the new trend is that they are not traveling long-haul enough, so we tend to suffer a little bit. The benefits we've had, the currency has been in our favor for a short while.
Sir, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
He was right on time, and he's just up to his game like it isn't this early. His name is Thulani Nzima, and he's the CEO of South African Tourism. Back to you in the studio.